evening and good everyone. I hope you had a great day and do not get lost on the way to Nirvana. Okay, let me show you my screen now. So can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good morning everyone and good evening everyone. I'm very glad to see you again. So we are closer to the Nirvana, I think. Just a little joke, but still far away. But we know how to attain to Nirvana step by step. That is to practice the Buddha's teaching. Yeah. So before the class today, I would like to have some recaps for you. Yesterday's material covered the karma and its link to cyclic existence and the nirvana. All karma, wholesome and unwholesome, are driven by defilement. In particular, the defilement of ignorance or self-view. The self-view has the function of aggregation and causes karmic forces to result in a new body and mind manifesting. When we end defilements, we end cyclic existence. No more aggregation of future bodies and minds. This is liberation. This is nirvana. So I hope you can have a clear picture about what nirvana means. Okay, so it has many synonyms or semi-synonym, such as liberation, realization of the truth, cessation, etc., etc. Okay, so these are the terms to describe the virtue of nirvana, or what a practitioner can experience while they attain the nirvana. And I think it's better to remind or distinguish two different expressions before we move on to the next slides. In these talks, in this series of talks, when you hear attain nirvana, this means a practitioner who are alive and experience the end, the state without any defilements, and at the same time with the meditative state. So this is called attain nirvana. So attain nirvana, the practitioner is still alive. But when you hear enter nirvana, it has a different meaning in this series of talks. When entering nirvana means a sage who attained nirvana pass away. So sages who attain nirvana also will die, okay? So the sages who attain nirvana passed away. We call this enter nirvana. So in today's talk, we spend much of the time to talk about this path. So what is like after the sages who attained Nirvana passed away? The answer is no answer. Well, we will see how Buddha responds such a question. Okay. To end this fundamental defilement of self-view, we need to develop wisdom. With wisdom to overcome self-view, Nirvana can be attained in this life. We don't have to wait until we die. Okay. So in Buddhist scriptures, they talk about Nirvana with residue and without residue. The residue refers to the present body and mind. Sages who have attained Nirvana still experience the sensations the body brings, such as pain, hunger, cold, and so on. But these sages go about dealing with these physical needs in ways that do not create new defiled karma or mental vexation. So this is the different point from ordinary being. After the discussion on karma, we have now moved on to the detailed investigation into Nirvana. And we have begun looking at the cessation of the aggregates. In this section, we are looking at explanations of Nirvana from different teachings. It is not about which is better or correct. They are all revealing one part of Nirvana or explaining it to suit a certain kind of practitioner. So we need to compile all this information together to get a better understanding of Nirvana. Yesterday, I mentioned that it is particularly impossible to infer or explain clearly what Nirvana is like. Nonetheless, humans are ignorant and will always ask questions. Therefore, the Buddha once used a simile to answer such a question from the disciples. So here, the simile is to answer the situation after the sages passed away. So the sages attained Nirvana and then passed away. So what is it like after they passed away? So here we are talking about this part. The Buddha has a flame in his hand, and with one swipe, the flame was extinguished. The Buddha then asked the disciples, where did the flame go? In this situation, it is not possible to say what condition the flame is in now, or where the flame has moved to. After ending cyclic existence and entering Nirvana, that is passing away, if someone were to ask what it is that condition like, or where is Nirvana located, it would be inexplicable, like the simile of the flame. Okay. Another common simile found in the sutras is the one about water. When the temperature when the temperature drops to a certain level, water turns into ice. There are many different shapes and size, some large ice caps and other small pieces of snow flakes. This is like sentient beings. Since time without beginning, we have developed all sorts of defilements, created various karmas, and experienced many kinds of results. Each being manifests differences. When the cold temperature dissipates, the ice will slowly melt into water and return to the oceans. This is the same as aspiring to practice and then actually ending defilements, attaining liberation from the suffering of cyclic existence, and entering Nirvana, that is, passing away. At that time, if someone asks, where have the ice gone? And what is that piece of ice like now? Such questions are nonsense, given the ice has melted. It is impossible to find the body of ice. Once the water has returned to the ocean, it is immersed with every other drops of water. And so it is said to be neither existent nor non-existent. Okay. So gaining liberation from cyclic existence and then entering Nirvana is similar to this analogy. It is not possible to imagine sentient beings with reference to their previous body in Nirvana, okay? So again, I would like to remind you the difference between attaining Nirvana and entering Nirvana. Attaining Nirvana means one attains liberation when still alive, while entering Nirvana means one who has attained Nirvana passed away, okay? Some people think that after entering Nirvana, there is still a separate body that moves around and communicates. The only difference is that this new Nirvana body is more mystical and sublime. This is an imagination based on the fundamental error of self-view. This is using the consciousness of a worldly being to imagine the conscious state of a liberated sage. It is fine to say that so-and-so has entered Nirvana, but it is incorrect to think that after entering Nirvana, they are still separate individuals. Just as we can say the waters of the Mississippi River and the water of the Ganges River flow into the sea. But once the water enters the sea, it would be ridiculous to try and discern which water was from which river, right? Why is it that sentient beings are unable to completely be liberated from the cycle of birth and death? The reason is the focus on the self, the attachment to the separate individuals as a self. There is this fear of losing the self, and there is always the thought that it is better to have self. Subsequently, sentient beings always manifest as separate individuals of self, and all sorts of suffering follow. Those who do attain Nirvana and then pass away are like different pieces of iceberg melting into the ocean. It is no longer possible to discern what each is like. After entering Nirvana, that is passing away, in that state, everything becomes harmonious and there is true equality. It is said in the sutras, state of cessation is unfathomable. Nirvana, which means cessation, is unfathomable, immeasurable, without time and space. The ocean of true nature is equality and cannot be separated into parts. It cannot be thought of like ordinary worldly objects, which have individual bodies, components, direction, and size, and so on. It is said in a Buddhist text, once there was a heretic in ancient India. When this heretic sees people die, he would say, oh, so-and-so has been reborn in heaven, or so-and-so has been reborn as a human, and or so-and-so have been reborn in the hells. He has a special sort of divine vision, okay? But after an arahat passed away, this heretic was unable to see where the arahat was reborn, no matter how hard he tried. This highlights that after entering Nirvana, that is passing away, there is no more coming and going. In other words, one is nowhere, and at the same time, one is everywhere, okay? People who have not realized the truth or attained Nirvana will always view this individual self as real and existent. And everything we do is driven by this view of itself. Therefore, when we hear about Nirvana, where there is no self, some people actually develop fear. Therefore, it is not easy to understand Nirvana properly. The problem lies in the fact that we cannot use our experiences relating to the self to infer what Nirvana is like. Yet, ordinary people make inferences about Nirvana based on self-view, and so what is inferred will always contain errors. After entering Nirvana, that is passing away, the body and mind dissipate and become still. Dissipate, cease, and still all have similar meanings in this context. This is not to say the body and mind are obliterated. Instead, one uses wisdom to realize the nature of phenomena, and in each state, the entity of individuals is destroyed. One becomes unified and in harmony with everything and experiences the same state of liberation as other sages. At this point, a new issue arises, and this results in the split between the Mahayana and the Shravakayana. Shravakayana practitioners think that after attaining the liberation from cyclic existence, there is nothing left to be done. Suffering has been eliminated and defilements no longer function. This is the Shravakayana practitioner's view of Nirvana. Do you know what an arahant normally says once they attain liberation? It is shown on the screen. In the sutra, you will often come across this saying by the arahants. Destroyed is birth. The holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. This is a translation by Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi from Samyutta Nikaya. Another translation of this saying by Venerable Bhikkhu Sujato is, rebirth is ended. The spiritual journey has been completed. What had to be done has been done. There is no return to any state of existence. So that means everything finished when they passed away. I mean, the continuation of cyclic existence stop. Okay. On the other hand, in Mahayana, after entering Nirvana, there is actually further practices that can be undertaken. It's quite different, isn't it? Mm-hmm. This can be explained from two aspects. One is the aspect of realizing the sameness between manifestations and the true nature. The other is the aspect of compassionate vows with no bounds. So this bit is a bit hard. So I hope you can gain some understanding, okay? All practitioners of the three vehicles, that is the Bodhisattvas, Shravakas, and Pratyeka Buddhas, all such practitioners awaken to the same true nature. When Shravakayana practitioners realize the true nature of phenomena, that means they awaken to emptiness. All signs of manifestation also cease. Although they know that this true nature is inseparable from manifestations, at the point of realization, which means they realize the truth with the meditative state, they do not perceive any manifested sign and only have awareness of this true nature. This is a state of transcendental state. Okay. Therefore, the Mahaprajna Paramita Sutra says, with the wisdom eye, what that sage sees beyond manifested signs. So when we realize the truth, which mean when we realize the truth with meditative state, we don't experience any situation of relativity, okay? So it's beyond what we experience here in this life. So these sayings say, with the wisdom eye that sage sees beyond manifested forms or sign, actually. This kind of reported experiences of the ancient sages are the basis on which Shravakayana practitioners develop their doctrines that explain the differences between cyclic existence and nirvana, and the differences between true nature and the worldly manifestation. Okay. So, in contrast, the awakening of Mahayana practitioners is more profound when they realize the true nature of all phenomena. Though what Mahayana practitioners perceive beyond manifested sign, they also thoroughly understand that true nature cannot be separated from manifestation. As the result, Mahayana practitioners continue with their practice until they attain the most profound realization, where they are able to experience true nature, which is sightlessness. And at the same time, they experience that all manifestations still appear as if illusion. So this is a different point. Shravakayana practitioner, when they realize the truth or attain the Nirvana, they only can experience the situation beyond the experience. But the Mahayana practitioners can have the same experience and also can see, can experience that all manifestations still appear as if an illusion, okay? This kind of impartial insight into emptiness that does not abstract phenomena is called the wisdom of middle way. It is also described as true emptiness, that is a wondrous experience, and the wondrous experience which is truly empty, okay? Because of such realization, therefore it is said, the wisdom eye sees nothing and yet sees everything, okay? Based on experiences from realization of such profound states, the Mahayana doctrines are established, including the principle of non-duality between true nature and the manifested phenomena, and principle on the sameness of cyclic existence and nirvana. On the path of practice, the attainment of this level of realization is called peacefully abiding in non-abiding nirvana. Okay. Here, one neither lost cyclic existence, neither lost cyclic existence nor touches to Nirvana. And this is something the Shravakayana awakening does not possess. Nonetheless, the Nirvana that Mahayana and Shravakayana practitioners realize are not completely different. It is just that Mahayana practitioners, having attained the Nirvana that is universal to all three vehicles, go a step further to reach the very bottom of the ocean of true nature. The path of three vehicles can lead to the end of cyclic existence. The Nirvana attained are often described using a simile of three animals crossing a river: a hare, horse, and elephant. Have you heard of this story? Although all three animals make it safely across the river, only the elephant, which refers to Mahayana, is able to walk on the riverbed, while the other two swims across and never known the true depths of the river. So that's the difference, okay? When Shravakayana practitioners attain realization of Nirvana, while experiencing Nirvana, all other consciousness do not arise. They are only aware of the nature of emptiness and do not have the wisdom of so-called the middle way. As a result, their path of practice does not place emphasis on deep and boundless great compassion, just like swimmers in the sea. Okay. When danger arises, some people get themselves to safety and then rest. The thought of going back into the dangerous water to help others does not really cross their minds. This simile is obvious when you are at the beach and you have a swimmer get into trouble. The people on the shore see them in trouble, and some scream in fear, some call the beach guards and the lifesavers. Some run into the water and head directly for the person in trouble. Those who stay on the shore have not done anything wrong, actually. It's just they know themselves to be weak and not have the ability to help directly. Mahayana Buddhism aims to inspire people to develop the skills and strengths to be able to help. Like the lifeguards on the beach, they have to undertake special training so they know how to help and save people from drowning in the waters. For bodhisattvas, over the process of their cultivation and training, they develop great compassion and vows. Bodhisattvas vow to save all sentient beings, And even after they themselves gain awakening, they continue to save sentient beings. Any pain and suffering a bodhisattva experiences while they work to bring benefit to sentient beings is perceived to be the greatest peace and highest joy. That is, there is no other happiness that can compare to this. So bodhisattvas are happy to help others, okay? Just like lifeguards, they may feel aches and pains when they get stretches and bruises, but after a busy day, the pain gives them peace because they know that they have done their job to protect swimmers, so the pain doesn't bring them sorrow, okay? When bodhisattvas attain Buddhahood, they have perfectly realized Nirvana. Nonetheless, due to the long-term immersion and nourishment from the strength of their great compassionate vow to save sentient beings without end, bodhisattvas can abide in the stillness of nirvana and still give rise to wondrous functions and manifestations that allow them to continue saving sentient beings. This aspect is very different to the view of Sravakayana practitioners, right? However, after attaining the perfection of Buddhahood, the deeds of saving sentient beings are no longer like the worldly situation where one may be able to save this person, but unable to save that person, or if they are there, they cannot be here. So the situation different. The nirvana realized by Buddhas is not restricted to a time and place. Rather, it is beyond time and space without restrictions. That means Buddhas manifest themselves in various forms and present the Dharma based on the results arising from sentient beings' wholesome karmic forces. A Buddha's nirvana is a state where they can manifest as needed, and such functions arise spontaneously without the need for intention and effort. A Buddha's parinirvana or complete nirvana is like sunlight that shines everywhere, and the sentient beings are like individual dwellings. If a dwelling has a square window, the sunlight shines through a square in a square shape. If the window is round, then the sunlight comes through in a round shape. But the sunlight does not have a so-called round or square shape, isn't it? Therefore, depending on the spiritual capacity and the needs of sentient beings, Buddhas manifest in all sorts of bodies and give different types of Dharma teachings. This is just like how Shakyamuni Buddha appeared in our world. He was born, renounced the household life, attained Buddhahood, taught the Dharma, and entered complete Nirvana. All this is his Nirmanakaya, which is translated as the transformation body. The actual Buddha that realized the perfect Nirvana had attained Dhammakaya long before, according to the Mahayana Sutra. Okay. Nirmanakaya is the transformation body, which is one of the three bodies that Buddhas possess. The transformation body is a manifestation in response to the needs and capacity of sentient beings, and can take on any form and use that form to teach Dharma and save sentient beings. Consequently, if people perceive the Buddhas who have attained complete Nirvana as separate individuals and who come here and go there and have different lifespans, then they are unable to properly understand the true meaning of Nirvana in the Mahayana sense. They do not understand the true meaning of Nirmanakaya, the transformation body. In order to awaken to and understand complete Nirvana properly, we must let go of the subtle self-view that perceives beings as separate individuals. In Nirvana, there are no differences distinguishing A from B. Therefore, if you want to understand Nirvana properly, it must begin with dismantling of cyclic existence and its suffering. Okay, that is, one must begin by stripping away at the separate bodies arising from the deeply rooted defilement of self-view. After entering Nirvana, it can be regarded as eternal in the sense that everything is perfect. There is nothing to be added or removed, nor are there any improvements needed. So don't misunderstand the term eternal. Although we use the term eternal, but it means everything is perfect. Okay. Nirvana can also be regarded as happiness, and this happiness is the most joyous and peaceful kind of happiness that is completely void of any more suffering. Moreover, this kind of happiness is not relative to suffering. So it is not a case where one suffers less. There is absolutely no suffering at all. Nirvana can also be regarded as freedom. It is a freedom that is absolute without the slightest form of restraint, worry, or abstraction. Nirvana has no defilement at all and is most pure. So we have quite a few qualities or term to describe Nirvana, right? Pure, free, happy, etc. Therefore, the sutras depict Nirvana as permanent, happy, self, and pure. But don't misunderstand the term self in this context. The description of self here means true freedom, and it must not be understood from the perspective of the defilement of ignorance arising from self-view, okay? Some people read the sutra and at face value, some people read the sutra at face value and misunderstand this state to imply there is some permanent existing being. This is wrong and this is not correct. So please take note of this important point. Otherwise, one will be caught by the defilement of self-view, will be unable to attain liberation. Trying to comprehend Nirvana with our worldly consciousness will always be difficult. So the Buddhist teachings often use the method of shading in clouds to showcase the moon. That is, the Buddhist texts use negatory statements to explain nirvana, such as neither rising nor falling, emptiness, separate, still, cessation, and so on. But sentient beings are ignorant and attached to a self, and so many are actually scared of nirvana because it is selfless. There are also some who dislike nirvana because they think it means annihilation, but actually it's not annihilation. So I hope none of you has any kind of these misunderstandings. I think it's time we stop the talk today, and better to leave some time for you to ask questions, because the content today is quite difficult, particularly the part on Mahayana, okay? So if you have any question, please open your microphone and ask your question.
Venerable, I have a question, please.
Yes, please.
When you said that the Shravakayana do not, I'm not sure what the adjective you use, but basically that they don't see the middle way, could you explain what was meant by the middle way in that context?
I see. Yeah, it's the term used in Chinese Buddhist, okay? So middle way in this context means emptiness and manifestation together. And Shravayaka only can realize emptiness. They can't have the emptiness and the manifestations together, you know.
Thank you. That makes sense.
The middle way. Yeah, very confusing, isn't it? Can you catch some idea from the talk today?
There's a lot of difficult material. There's,
Yeah,
I think it's
you
going to
need
take,
to
a lot of review.
some time to digest. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any question? Well, I hope this is just to let you know the difference between Bodhisattva and Shravakayana practitioner. So the for Shravakayana practitioner, the aim is to attain the Nirvana and everything done. So we can't say anything more. But if we want to add some more words, they just enjoy the tranquility, happiness, etc., etc. So they don't have any sort of further jobs to have sentient being. But Bodhisattva different, or Buddha different. They have sort of transcendental ability, after they enter Nirvana, some inconceivable things can or career can be undertaken, I think. Yeah. Justin, please. You yeah.
Yeah, my sense is that actually that sort of defeats the purpose if you attain to help other people without helping other people to attain it. It's not true. I mean, it has to have some truth in it in order to reach that deeper level, I guess. Does that make any sense?
So you mean if we want to attain the higher level of Nirvana, we have to have more beings so that we can attain higher level, you mean?
I mean, I think that's a part of it because it just...
Exactly. So you probably have learned a lot of Mahayana doctrines. So it's not weird for you to have beneficial deeds after entering Nirvana, I think.
But it just seems to be a basic thing to all human beings to help other people anyway. But I'm just trying to be commonsensical about the whole thing, because otherwise you lose the basis of it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. The priority for us is to help others. And at the same time, we benefit ourselves as well. So remember, always think about how to help others. And we gain the benefit from this process, I think. Okay.
It's through communication that we sort of like become of a part of each other in that sense. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for your comments. Thank you. And any question, I think, is not easy. Yes, please. Ida.
Hold on.
Yes, please.
Thank you for your presentation. So in today's world, who or what group is I don't even know how to say that. The people that only aspire to their personal nirvana-hood.
You mean Shravakayana practitioner?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah. What I can think about is those who focus on attaining nirvana or self-liberation. You know what I mean? So some Buddhist tradition don't focus or put emphasis on being a bodhisattva.
That's
So
what I'm
you
trying to
have,
understand, because I
have you
thought that was in the past. So I want to know if there are any current.
a current, yeah, is a bit sensitive, but for my personal point of view, I think so. We call Theravada tradition as a sort of Shravakayana practitioner. Although now it's quite different because they do emphasize helping others. You know what I mean? Unlike the practitioner in the past, the situation is different, but the aim or the goal is still the same, you know. No matter how much beneficial deed they can do, they can't have any beneficial deeds after they enter Nirvana. So limited, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah, thank you. So
for the clarification.
Yeah, so all clear.
Better.
Good. Yeah, so Theravada tradition is sort of Sravayana tradition, okay, but there's quite a few Theravada tradition. They encourage people to help others, not just focus on their benefit of gaining liberation. You know, it's important, but they are willing to help others. Now it's different. But to be honest, this will reduce the speed, or to reduce the speed to attain the liberation, because they spend some time to benefit others. You know what I mean?
No.
No? Well, if you focus on liberation or practice the Dharma to attain liberation, we save time, you know? If we need to spend time to benefit others, well, to realize the truth, we need the support of meditative state. So when yes, it's time we should we should end the talk. Okay. Before I hope you can gain some ideas. If not, we can continue after the class. Okay. So before we finish the class today, I would like to guide everyone to dedicate our merits to sentient beings. Okay. So let me show you. Okay. Please just follow my wording with your mind. Okay. So now please join your palms and let the joy from learning the Dharma arise in us. with all the merits I have accumulated from paying respects, making offerings, and confessing my faults, from appreciative joying others' merits and requesting the Dharma. All these merits I dedicate to all beings for their safety, peace, and attainment of unsurpassed Bodhi. Thank you.